Okay, so in the previous class, we have discussed about various things or the fundamental of supply chain management. Before starting this particular subject, what do you mean by supply chain management? Chino, Chino, are you there? Anusha,
Yes, sir.
what do you mean by supply chain management?
Sir, supply chain management is the management of flow of goods and service and includes all the process that transfer raw material to in final product.
Okay. Sangram, what are the entities of supply? Yes, you can mute your microphone. What are the entities of supply chain management? Sangram. Sangram, are you there?
Sir, 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 operation. Sorry,
See,
operation,
this,
raw
yes.
material, and
The first one is product, the next one is facilities, then the next one is your career, the last one is route. These are the four entities of supply chain management. Next, Somisha, what is value addition or what is value chain in supply chain management? How?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
So again, please you can repeat the question.
What is the role of value chain or what is the, you can say it is the value chain focus on supply chain means what?
Sir, it's add value to raw material to produce product.
Okay. Okay, let's start without wasting time. So I just repeat those things. Do not go to the brief theory. As you know, value addition or value chain that's directly focused on two activities. The first one is primary activities and second one is supporting activities. In the previous class, what we have discussed. So if you go to the schematic view of value chain additions, starting from the farm infrastructure, the resource management, the technology, the procurement or purchase process, these are known as your supportive activities, which is go for making a margin related to your profit. But the thing is that these supportive activities are directly enhanced in case of your primary activities, which is basically include your inbound logistics, operation, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and services. Clear? We do not just quickly review the what we have discussed in the previous class. Then if you take a small case studies, okay, so here the small case studies of PepsiCo International. As you know, PepsiCo International has several number of other brand are there like Pepsi, Lay's, Tropicana, Quakers. And in case of what is the tagline of Pepsi? Anyone? This is the particular case studies belong to value chain, focus on supply chain management. So before go to discussion of this particular case study, what is the tagline of Pepsi? Anyone?
Sir, that's what I like.
Okay. Chinu, Sangram, this is the recent, but if you think about globally, the tagline is refresh your world with Pepsi. That is the tagline of Pepsi. But in case of if you go to the value chain, focus on supply chain with respect to this particular beverage companies, they have, if you go to the component or composition of this particular Pepsi is, first you have to understand how the composition are made, or they are converted into a premium segment of cold drinks. So basically they add water, sugar, flavor and sparkling sodas. So the combination of water, sugar, sparkling soda, and flavors, these are one type of value which enhance the quality of that particular beverage. Then moving to the next part. So if you go to the next part, in that case, after showing the spectacular growth, this is the past scenario of this particular company, because in case of your value chain, you must be go for your past historical analogies. So in the year 1990 and early of 2000, the Pepsi brand found too difficult to manage distribution center and warehouse because the carry and forwards agency charges is very much higher side during that period. So in the year 2010, PepsiCo Beverage Company, an operating unit of PepsiCo, the second largest and beverage company in the world, received the Supply Chain Innovation Award. Just imagine, during early 2000, they are facing so much difficulties in case of distribution or in case of warehouse. But the thing is, they are directly add some value, and in the year 2010, they are the only one company across the world that received the Global Supply Chain Innovation Awards from the Council of Supply Chain Management Professional. If you go to next part, point number 3, PepsiCo was given award for innovation distribution strategy. That means direct to store delivery. That is the strategy basically used by Pepsi. But in case of Coke, they are directly focused on the globalization strategy in the form of rural marketing. So that reduce the system-wide inventories, elimination of warehouse space, enhance the potential and unlimited, that is stock keeping units growth, and delivery warehouse cost is savings. In this regard, they directly save huge amount of money. Moving to the next part, if you go to the next part, I just enlarge the slide here. So if you go to the Pepsi and Cola concentration, particularly in two plants, the one plant is for bottling and distribution plant, and another is bottling and distribution of franchise plant. We have already seen the PepsiCo plant near Jagatpur, Cuttack. This is a particular franchise for responsible for bottling and distribution of plant, and these are directly focused on, that is direct to distributor point or direct to sell the particular product, or direct to store product concept is there. So basically in that particular part, they are focused on direct to sell delivery models. In that case, from this company or distribution or bottling plant, they focus on retail store, food service, and vendors. And from that retail store, food service, and vending, consumer directly consume this particular beverage. Similarly, in case of your franchise owned for bottling and distribution plant, they are also focused on direct to store delivery model. In that model, they are focused on retail store, food service stores, and vending zones, where they directly forward this particular beverage to the last user or in case of consumers. So in this regard, they can generate more amount of revenue by saving the ultimate stock keeping unit, and also they reduce the percentage of warehouse space, and also they reduce the percent of inventory during distribution process. Moving to the next part, so if you see the strategy point of view, starting from the PepsiCo company, they are directly, the material should be flow from company to distributor, then distributor to small retailer and small purchaser, then small purchasers to the end user or customers. So this is the flow of material or flow of product starting from company to consumers. In between starting from company to consumer, they have two type of intermediates. One is distributor is there, and another is small retailers are there. So basically, this material flow or product flow should be carried out by the help of two methods. The methods are known as, one is point-to-point
Sir,
consumptions.
sir,
Yes,
sir, just go to the previous slide.
yes.
Sir, before this channel, what did PepsiCo used to do?
This one.
Yes, yes, sir. Means,
Okay.
sir, if the company is directly giving product to the distributor, then the distributor must have the warehouse to, means the distributor
No, no, no,
will
no. They directly send within 24 hour. For example, in case of your PepsiCo distribution strategy regarding value chain focus on your supply chain, in that case, whenever you assign a particular distributor, the distributor is just provide a limited period storing. That is maximum of 24 hour or maximum 48 hours. Within 48 hour or within 24 hour, they will directly send to retail store, food service or vending zones. So there is no need to go for warehouse facilities or any kind of enhanced warehouse distribution strategies is there. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So for that particular strategy, they are basically use two type of strategy. First one is point to point. Basically, in case of direct to store delivery model, that means from company to your customer, either company to retail store, either company to your vending zones. But in case of focusing the different franchise point of view, in case of franchise, they are basically use hub and spoke model. So if you see the H each act as a hub and the A, B, C, D, E, F are act as a spoke. That means a particular radius will be maintained. For example, in case of 100 kilometer or 200 kilometer, that centrally operated distribution center is applicable, and they will provide all kind of product delivery within 24 hour or within 48 hour. That is the concept of FC. Moving to the next part, if you go to the next part,
Sir, point to point they used to do before, means at the
suppose,
beginning.
for example, you are organize your annual function. Clear? In that case, if you order around 5 carton or 6 carton of PepsiCo, in that case, if you directly communicate with them, they will provide. So there is no need for transportation activities. There is no need to pay for loading or loading activities. They have arranged all the kind of things. That is the concept. That means whenever a source point is arise a particular amount of demand, special reference to eastern part of India, special reference to India also. If you take the case of India, if you have any kind of event, if you order a small amount or whether should be a bulk amount, in that case they directly deliver you without any intermediate. That is the concept of point to point. But in case of franchise, they are focused on intermediates like your wholesaler and small retailers are there. So for small retailer and small, sorry, for you can say wholesaler and small retailers, they are using the hub and spoke model. Is it clear to all? Okay, moving to the next one. If you go to the distribution networks, then direct to, if you from PepsiCo point of view, they basically use direct to store delivery, customer warehouse, and distribution networks there. Basically, that distribution network is played by the help of hub and spoke models. We'll go on that particular topic in case of hub and spoke model. Moving to the next one, the next company is your ITC companies. So ITC is famous for what? Anyone?
Sir, BD, cigarette,
That is not BD, that is tobacco.
tobacco.
Okay. So in case of ITC is the only one company who can generate their revenue. 80% revenue will be generated by tobacco industries. Clear? That is why, as you know, each Indian budget, the cost of tobacco should be increased day by day. Clear? So that is why the company is diversify its business toward FMCG, like cosmetic, like edible oils, like consumable oils. Okay, in that case, ITC is diversify its business and also go for new product innovations. But the thing is that most of the revenue is generated by ITC through the tobacco sellings or tobacco marketings. Clear? So these are the basic brand under ITC. If you go to the Wills Lifestyles, or if you go to Sour, if you go to Yummy, if you go to Supriya, if you go to Mint, if you go to John Player, these are the, or if you go to Ashirwad Atta, these are the premium segment brand which is available in case of FMCG sector. Moving to the next part, we must consider about the sustainability of ITCs. As you know, the ITC is the future holding company, and ITC Limited, it is focused on tobacco, edible oil, and papers. So if you segregate the brand of ITC, there may be ITC hotels are there, then ITC Bhandra Chalam Limited is there, ITC Agrotech is there, ITC Software is there, ITC Finance is there, and more number of ventures company or joint ventures with bank companies are there. These are the whole flagship of your ITC companies. So moving to the next one, ITC marketing savvy and spinning of company for independent growth and expansion plan are expected to see turnover of quarter to the 10,000 crore by the year 2000. So these things basically initially they focus on tobacco, then after they diversify towards different like hotels, like Vadrachalams Limited, like agro, like software, like finance, like banking. Then moving to the next part, we are talking about the concept of value chain directly focus on how the value chain should be and how the value chain directly focus or directly influence supply chain. Through that supply chain, you can maximize your revenue generation. That is the main concept behind this particular case study. If you think about the ITC's overview, ITC is the one of the India's foremost private sector company with a market capitalization of US 52 billions and gross sale value of US 10 billion with the presence of in FMCG, in hotel, and they are also applicable in case of packagings. They are also making paper boards. They are also specialized for producing quality of papers, especially in case of which brand is famous in case of ITC for paper or notebooks. Anyone?
Sir, Classmate.
Classmate is the brand owned by ITC. They are specialized for papers. And similarly, in case of agri and IT business, they are focused on rural India for enrichment of the rural peoples. Clear? Moving to the next part, in case of ITC, brand are designed and customized to delight the diverse taste, need, and lifestyle of discerning about Indian customers. As you know, ITC brand reach up to 124 million Indian households through the Ashirwad Atta, through the APs, or through any type of FMCG product. As ITC believe that the business can bring about transformational change to create more sustainable futures. As I told, most of the company nowadays, they are focused on sustainabilities. Clear? Because whenever you success in the market, they are always search for sustainabilities. Just like Colgate, just like your, you can say that is live oils, soap in that case. To serve larger national priority, ITC has made societal value creation that core of its business strategy. That is the most important strategy, which is basically focused for sustainable future for ITC brand. Moving to the next one. So he is the founder or chairman, or you can say the managing director, Sanjeev Puri. And this is the product profile. As I told, in case of hotel, the next one is cigarette, then incense sticks, then personal care, safety matches. So what is the brand of matchsticks, or what is the matchsticks box brand, especially belong to ITC? ITC का कौन सा मैच बॉक्स है?
So Homelight.
AIM.
That is AIM, exactly right. Chini, you are right. That is AIM. AIM is the brand owned by ITCs. Clear. Then in case of agri industries, then informational technology, then paperboard, then packaged food, and last one is stationery, and the next one is brand appeals. In case of wheels, in case of John Players. Clear. So these are the product profile. Moving to the next one. So these are the different ITC distribution network in case of India. As you see, they totally cover every state as far as the east part, or as far as concerned with the west part, or north or south part also. Clear. So if you think about the ITC supply chain, basically what happened in case of ITCs, they made their first one. They made their company hub factory. Then they assign carry and forward agency, that is C&F agency is there. Under that C&F agency, huge amount of wholesaler are there. Under that wholesaler, few amount of retailers are there. And if you add some small wholesaler in between, so your wholesaler and retailers are there. And initially the final product or services that directly goes to end user in the form of customers. So this is the whole schematic view of your supply chain of ITC. If you go to the flow diagram or your process flow diagram, initially the factory hub, the first one is the factory hub. The factory hub is well connected with carry and forward agency, and this carry and forward agency are well connected with wholesaler, distributors, and as well as small type of retailer, or you can say these small intermediates are there. and by the help of retailer, it should be reached up to the customer point of view. Then the next, we are talking about value addition. These are the stage. I will show the next slide. In case of this slide, just minimize the slide. Just a minute. Okay. So this is the stage of value addition in case of internal supply chain management. In case of internal supply chain, the first point is inbound logistics. In case of inbound logistics, this basically include farmer proceed to the nearest ITC procurement hub with the note. So as you know, in case of agri product or agri pharma, or in case of incense sticks makings, ITCs rule the market. Special reference to incense sticks. So basically, they directly proceed or directly focus to farmer. So in case of inbound logistics, the farmer proceed to the nearest ITC procurements. The next part is that some procurement hub are ITC factory and some are warehouse operations. The next point is the ITC aim to have processing center with 30 to 40 kilometers radius of its farmer. तो जहाँ पे फार्मर अवेलेबल है वहाँ का 30-40 रेडियस में वो अपना प्लांट बिठाता है. That is the concept of value addition in case of inbound logistics. The next part is that in case of raw material, filter made of 90% of cellulose and tripping paper to cover filter, rolling paper to cover tobacco blends are basically used. So these are the raw material basically comes from the sourcing process from different type of farmers. For example, some farmers are responsible for providing cellulose. So these cellulose are basically used in case of your cigarette tips and wrapping of cigarettes. Clear? And you can use in case of blending of tobacco, basically used. So these cellulose came from farmers, and that's from farmer to procurement department, or you can say the ITC factory site, and that site should be available with the radius of 30 to 40 kilometers. That in this area, in this mean, what will happen? Farmer need not to travel much fast things. They can easily sell their agri product the nearby ITC factory, and automatically what will happen? They will connect with more social responsible or CSR activities in this regard from farmer to farmer. Then more number of farmer group are attached to ITC factories. Moving to the next part. In case of men, one part is already discussed, that is material part. In case of manpower, ITC employ 25,000 people at more than 60 locations. In case of machinery, ITC use world-class machines in order to match the demand. Then in case of material, ITC gives world-class quality product to their customers, especially in case of tobacco industries. Then in case of money, ITC is the one of the country's biggest foreign exchange earners. The next part is that if you go to the environment collaboration with suppliers, that means whenever a farmer is attached with ITC, ITC will provide a small amount, whether it should be a small amount fund or whether it should be a huge amount fund, depending upon the liability of farmers. The next is environment friendly purchase practice, because they are basically use paper notes regarding purchase and procurement or sale or buy, all the things should be done on a paper way. The next is product environment impact reduction by collaboration with designer and suppliers. Next part, they are minimizing the waste. The next point is decrease the consumption of hazardous and toxic materials. So as I told, why ITC is very much famous, the thing is that if you think about ITC Yappy noodle versus Nestle Maggi. In case of Nestle Maggi, they have contained the toxic material like lead. But in case of ITC, there is no toxic material or hazardous things should be contained that should be directly affect the human body. That should be very much, we can say, they directly reduce the percentage of toxic material as far as concerned with their particular product. The last one, sorry, they are basically focused on environmental friendly packaging. As you know, in case of most of the ITC product, they are using single-use plastics for package unit, and that should be, if you use their particular product, that should be easily biodegradable after the consume of that particular product. Or in some cases, they are using Tetra packs, or in some cases they are using paper cardboard, or in some product they are basically use the paper wrappers. So these are the basically used in case of your environmental friendly packaging. So these values starting from your raw material, then man, machine, then material provided by ITC, then money, then environmental collaboration with suppliers, then environmental friendly purchase practice, the product environment, reduce the, or you can say the minimize the waste, decreasing the consumption of hazardous and toxic material, and last one is environmental packaging. These value addition directly enhance the supply chain whenever you go for competitive advantage in case of market. Moving to the next part, that is known as the stages of value addition in case of external supply chain management. In case of external supply chain management, they are adding the value in case of factory. That factory contains we can say the proper layout of machines, proper transportation of internal product from one place to other place, or flow of materials. And next part is that proper identification of carry and forward agents. The next is proper certified wholesaler and distributors. The next initiation of ISO 14,000 certification. Basically, ISO 14,000 certification is enabled in case of environmental management system. They are basically use reverse logistics in case of your some FMCG product. The next is environmental collaboration with customers, and the last one is working with customer to change the product
Reverse
specification.
logistic means?
Yes, yes,
Sir, they are
yes.
using reverse logistic means?
Reverse logistics basically use whenever you return the particular product. One is forward logistic, one is reverse logistic. Forward logistic in case of ITC, that is company to wholesaler, then wholesaler to small distributor, then small distributor to your consumer. But if your product is not up to the quality level or not up to the mark of quality, most of the customer are reject the product, and they in case of rejection of product, in that case the reverse logistic is applied. Initially the customer provide the demand informations and also provide the product. That product goes to your sub retail, then sub retail to wholesaler, and wholesaler to your company teams or companies or ITC company factories. In this case, specially reference to reverse logistics, the customer do not pay any money or any cost for that particular things. The company will bear all the expenses related to collect the particular defect or error of that particular product. So in case of logistics, we will go to that particular part as far as concerned with logistics. Logistics is basically divided into two types. One is forward logistics, that is the flow from company to customers. And in case of reverse logistics, that is customer to companies. That is the concept of reverse logistics.
Sir, in the
Yes.
previous class also, in
Please.
poultry farm example, we
Uh,
have studied about the forward integration and backward integration. Is it same with the reverse logistic and
the integration is different thing, and logistics is a different things. Clear? These are very much equivalent but not equals. Is it clear?
yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the value addition in case of external supply chain management. And what are the outcomes? The outcomes are analyze the manufacturing operation of a farm. The next one is apply sales and operation plannings. That is material resource planning is there, and lean manufacturing concept is there. And next output is apply logistic and purchase concept to improve supply chain operation. Point number 3, apply quality management tool like your PDCA cycle, like your you can say Kaizen is there, your Kanban is there. These are the basic quality management tool which is implemented in case of your process improvement. The next is engagement with our supply chain has expanded given the growth of our new consumer good business. And ITC supply chain comprise large number of small scale partners. Here, if you go to rural India, if you go to urban India, they directly tie up with more number of small scale partners, and they are providing huge amount of revenue to the ITC side. The next is they also go for third party seller, or they directly employed some carry forward franchise. The next is extensive use of technology, whether should be matchbox or whether should be paper industry. They are using the latest technology for their particular product. The next is access information about customers. They are always collecting the different segment of customers and how the customers behave towards their particular product. that should be collected in a regular interval from ITC side. The next is follow the fast in, fast out inventory management methods. The next is combination of rail, road, and sea movement within the country depending upon the product type. The target is safer, faster, and cost effective. That is why most of the ITC are used their distribution channel through railways, through roadways, and in case of bulk amount, they directly prefer seaways. So these are the basic output of value chain focus on supply chain management. Moving to the next one. The next part is the just a minute. The next topic is impact of supply chain management on sales. How the supply chain management or the impact of supply chain management on sale. In that case, as I told, the most important entities of supply chain, whether it should be product facilities or your carrier or your route, that should be, if you go to any kind of modifications or explore the market, you can directly customize the different entities of supply chain management. In this regard, if you go to the point number 1, the supply chain process can impact sales both positively and negatively. So if supply chain is far enough removed from the sales, the process impact is not usually perceived unless the impact is negative. Also, some case studies how the impact of supply chains on sale, whether it should be positive or negative. If you think about the distribution point of view, the supply chain process is closely related to sales process. The more you suppose, for example, during any peak demand situation, in that case, if your supply chain is or your product delivery is delay, in that case, automatically it hamper the sales. So the impact of this perhaps most quantifiable in case of industries, and it involves procurement item for resales. So that's why if you take the garment industry particularly, during festivities, they have a huge amount of inventory there. But you cannot assume the uncertainty in case of your customer demand. The customer demand is just like you can say that cannot be predictable. So that is why it is directly hamper the sales also. तो सपोज दुर्गा पूजा फेस्टिविटी में अगर किसी भी रिटेल आउटलेट किसी भी गारमेंट आउटलेट अगर बाय वन गेट टू ऑफर करेगा, in that case it is difficult to maintain the balance between demand and supply. So if your supply chain is very much adequate or very much enhanced in this regard, you can directly increase the percentage of sales. So that is one part of your impact of supply chain on sales. Then moving to the next part, it is easy to see how the supply chain can positively impact on sale by negotiating the price. Suppose you are ordering a bulk amount. In that case, you directly go for negotiating the price. So through contract negotiation of supply chains, in that case, you can get a huge amount of discount, and which allow distributor to sell less than as compared to its competitors. This is one of the positive things. The next part is that the supply chain can also work to keep sufficient inventory. As I told, during festivities or during the peak level of demand, it is difficult to maintain between demand and supply. So when the demand for a hot product exceeds the supply chain market, whether the market is regional, national, or international. So as I told in the past class that during the COVID-19 situation, the price of onion would be reach up to 70 rupees per kilo. And it's difficult to, but the thing is that the consumption rate also increases day by day. So due to that thing, due to blockage of national highway, due to blockage of railways, it is difficult to maintain the demand and supply in case of your onion. And that directly affect on sales. Clear? Then moving to the next part, an effective supply chain is defined definitely a component in case of building reputation for qualities and on-time delivery, leading to the additional opportunity for sales. So whenever you deliver in a faster way, in a safe mode, in that case, it automatically build up a particular reputation for that particular companies. So most of the company are providing a particular delivery date, the expected date of delivery. That should be leading to increase the reputation of that particular companies. Even if they are also increase the percentage of qualities, especially reference to, or because they go for additional opportunity in case of sales. Moving to the next part. The next part is, just a minute, impact of supply chain management on cost. So this is another topic. In case of impact of supply chain on cost, to practice effective or cost-efficient logistic management with reference to supply chain management, an organization must lay the foundation for responsive economical transport networks. As I told, most of the time, in case of transport organizations or in case of logistic organizations, company always search for vital logistic partner or important logistic partner. They are financially stable. They are provide more number of multi. You can say that is. They will go for multi. You can say multi-mode method of transportations, and they will provide a huge amount of incentive and discount whenever you go for bulk transportations. In this case, whenever you assign, suppose you have hired 4 to 5 number of third-party agencies. Just a minute. There is some network issue. Just hold on. Okay. Suppose you are the company owner and you have to directly ship a huge amount of product from the place like Bhubaneswar to Andhra Pradesh or Bhubaneswar to Maharashtra. In that case, you directly hire or directly respond to various type of agency who are responsible for providing logistic operations. In case of logistic operation, most of the company are direct go for e-biddings. So through bidding, they directly go for the lower segment of or lower price quote by a particular company. After getting the price, they also analyze the different parameters like whether the company is financially stable, whether they deliver the product on time, whether the mode basically used by that particular third party is safe. That should be analyzed, and that enhance your, or you consider it is that enhance more number of trust on that particular third agency. And due to that amount of trust built up by the agency as far as concerned with your side, in that case you can directly go for cost optimization. How cost should be optimized? To go for negotiating, or you can say that is price negotiation should be done from your side as well as from his side also, whenever you send a huge amount of item. Moving to the next point, with a responsive and economical transport networks, an organization is able to implement major strategic changes to reduce the cost, increase customer service level with little disruption to overall supply chain flow. So that is why most of the company, as I told in the last class, that Kapoor and Sons, that is the only one company who provide more amount of customer satisfaction or customer services. Suppose you are transporting your four-wheeler, or even you transporting your bikes from Bhubaneswar to other places. In that case, the company is responsible for, if any kind of scratch or any kind of damage will be appear, they will provide the insurance against this scratch and damage. So this customer service will be enhanced more amount of, you can say it is more amount of potential customer, which is directly or indirectly affect your supply chain flow. The next part is that if you go to the fact of supply chain manager who are outspacing their competition, have done so largely by acknowledging the transportations as the ready vehicle through which to drive cost saving and create value within the supply chain. So what kind of a ready vehicle through which, as I told in the last class, that most of the dairy industry are use the strategy like milk run method. That means they never go for multi-carrier option, they choose only one carrier option, and that carrier in the form of truck or lorry, that should be reach up to number of destination, and where they are collected the raw milk, and that milk should be reach up to your dairy industries, where they can further proceed for new product or further proceed for the output, like in case of your pasteurized milk. Moving to the next one. So these are the cost saving, how the cost should be reduced in case of supply chain, transportation, logistic cost, or you can say how to reduce the supply chain, transportation, logistics costs. The first thing is that do not read the sentence, just focus on the basic major points. In case of fewer carriers, that is the first one. The next one is consolidating shipping, and the last one is single sourcing. So if you go to the wild content of this particular topic, the transportation cost can be significant part of company overall logistics spending. So as per the rule and as per the literal value or literal meaning of transportation cost, the transportation cost should not be exceed around your should exceed around your 50% of your whole production cost. So basically, with increase in price of fuel, nowadays we are already facing the price of your diesel, price of petrol, or price of crude oil is increase day by day. In that case, all proportion allocated to transport can be upward of 50%. The next part is that the cost is passes on to the customer. The price of good continue to rise. Not day to day, we have already faced that every price of product will be raised day by day. Next part is that is why most of the cases to reduce the supply chain, transportation, logistic costs. So these are the options starting from the fewer carriers in case of consolidating shipment, and the last one single sourcing are basically used. So we will discuss one by one. In case of fewer carriers, so basically the transport manager should be adopt the same strategy when it's come to number of carrier used. This is the first point. The second point is that the transport manager spend time finding the best carrier at the best price, but the same time, sometimes that lead to large number of carrier being used. The next part is that the multiple carrier approach occurs when the transport manager have negotiated the best deal for each route, but now look at the big pictures. And the last point, by offering vendor at a large volume of work, the carrier should be able to offer lower rate across all routes. So whenever, as I told in the previous slide, that you shifting your household item from one place to other place. In that case, you have more number of options are there. Yes. But in some cases, you choose multiple or fewer carriers, means less carriers. In that less carrier, if you go for larger volume of work, in that case, the carrier service provider agency will provide a huge amount of discount whenever you go for pricing negotiations, and they also go for, or they also provide the offer for lower rate across all routes. The same thing happen in case of your industry also. For example, if you take the example of Tata Steel, so as you know, Tata Steel is the company who assign only one carrier, that is known as Sager Transport Private Limited Company, and this company is assigned, or this company is responsible for providing transportation facilities for shipment of unfinished steel from Jamshedpur plant to your Vizag port. So for these things, they have arranged, they have customized their vehicles, or in case of long trailer trucks, they have customized their vehicle in a such way that they can directly use, or they can provide all kind of facility, whether it should be steel plate, whether it should be steel rod, whether it should be a round bar of steel, whether it should be cross-sectional bar of steel. They can be easily shipped from one place to other place. And due to choose of fewer carrier, there is a particular trust is built from both sides, from the company side as well as from the agent side, and that trust will be directly go for reduce the cost in case of price negotiation, in case of incentives, in case of route optimization, in case you can directly focus on lower the different rate which is directly or indirectly associated with your transport agency. Moving to the next part, in case of consolidating shipment, the consolidated shipment means transportation of managers will be moving away from the less than truckload shipment to truckload shipment. In case of less than truck shipment, for example, in case of 10 wheels trucks, the maximum capacity of that particular trucks is 80 tons. Clear? So whenever you go for consolidated shiftings, Suppose there are more number of you can say that is sources and suppliers are there. So it is difficult to go for number of trucks or multiple carrier option. That is why most of the company are using consolidating shipment. In case of consolidating shipment, basically what will happen? The truck are basically use containers, and then in that container they are directly contact to various type of suppliers, and these suppliers are providing their goods for transportation activities, and for that good they will arrange in a such a way inside the container only that container load or container weight, load and volume should be considered. This is the concept behind consolidated shipping. So if a company uses carriers for its delivery, the rate it pay it's negotiated by the trip based on weight, the distance, and other variables. One strategy that can be used by a transportation manager is to consolidate shifting so that fewer trips are made. The company reaps the benefit of lower rate based on the larger shipment. So basically, it is happen in case of shipment of four-wheeler inside the containers. The next part is that in case of moving more number of vehicles or heavy machinery, that should be go for consolidating shipment. So in case of different turbine parts, in case of different component of vehicles, that should be done through the consolidated shipment. Even if in case of paint industry are also using consolidating shipment for different location and different route. Moving to the next one, that is known as your single sourcings. So by offering all transportation out of it via a request of quotations, a company can provide carrier with a detailed explanation and it requires when fall outside of what is normally provided by the common carriers. So this is very much similar to your fewer carrier, but the thing is that that should be done for request on quotations. And according to the request on quotation, if you find a eligible transport company, then detail will be explained what it requires and what are the fall outside and what is normally provided by the common carrier that should be considered. If the winning bidder fulfills the need of the company, that has been fully evaluated based on the different parameters, and company could gain the significant transportation advantage by saving using the single carrier. So these are the basic methods starting from the fewer carriers, then consolidated shipping, and the next one is single shipping to reduce the cost of transportation management. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Yes, anyone? Anyone? Any doubts?
No, sir. Clear, sir.
No, sir.
तो consolidating shipping का तुम लोग देखे होगे